So here's a riddle for you. What exactly do you think that this person here had to say about Mulan 2020? Do you think that they praised the story, or maybe the storytelling techniques, or maybe cutting-edge visuals within it? Do you think that they praised the representation within it? They utilized the buzzwords that they've always been talking about and said, hey, this is so stunning, so brave. Or do you think they took the lowest common denominator approach? They looked behind the scenes and they said, yeah, those people out there, they don't look the way that I want. If you pick that third option, you would be right. And not only that, but they wrote it in an article. They wanted to get attention for it because, oh my God, I'm so offended. So hey there. So today, you and I are going to return to that wonderful world of But My Outrage. And this is my favorite type of coverage because it gives us something to collectively look at, to collectively point at, and to say, ha ha ha, who exactly are you? Like I said earlier too, this person, they wanted attention for this opinion. They put it out into the public. And not only that, it's not a quote. They wrote an entire article based on this idea. And I would say to that writer, if they run across this video, don't think about this as negativity. Think about this in the time of jazz hands as another type of applause. Now, what's interesting about this is that at first it had even more incendiary rhetoric behind it. As a POC, I'm angry that Disney's Mulan remake had white people in charge. I mean, really, when are we going to get to the point where we call this what it is? This isn't beautiful. This isn't stunning. This is that ism that they love to talk about so much. You point that at specific people because of the color of their skin. Yeah, you got a problem, and that problem, it should be called out. Now, of course, with this specific person, that's probably not going to happen because number one, they love to use the buzzwords. But number two, they're an editor-in-chief at places that like off color, so that gives them the ability to throw about that rhetoric without anybody actually calling it out. And this is how they approach the subject. When the news broke that my childhood favorite film was getting a live-action treatment with a focus on improving it to be more culturally respectful and sensitive, I was overjoyed. Who will they cast, I thought? Will they treat Shang's widely discussed? You can see that word there. Will the costume designer pull out all of stops, as Ruth E. Carter did for Black Panther? I wonder if they'll bring back Eddie Murphy to voice Mushu. Are you freaking kidding me? You think Mushu, number one, is culturally sensitive, and number two, Eddie Murphy going in and voicing that somehow fits that? Good on you there. Good on you to blow that up. But anyway, I dreamed and I planned. And the universe laughed. From its conception, the project has followed by controversy, delay, and criticism. Finally, it premiered on the 10th of March, but as the cast of Asian excellence lined up on the red carpet for photos and interviews, they were followed by the crew, majority of whom were unsurprisingly very white. So you know, when you're talking about films like this, even behind the scenes, you gotta expel those white people. Can't have them around at all. If they're there, well, you know how to deal with that. Line them up on the wall. Line them up on the wall, indeed. Continuing. As a person of color, this was incredibly frustrating to see. We were promised that this remake would be a departure from the animated movie's Orientalist roots and a more accurate to origin retelling of the Chinese legend and folk song, The Ballad of Mulan, which the movie is based on. But seeing a host of white people parading on that carpet and enjoying their time in the spotlight made it feel hollow. God, I can't stand white people actually enjoying themselves. Oh, that says everything you need to know about this person. It was a visual slap in the face. I'm sure with a statement like that, you've never actually had that experience. Continuing, an undeniable message from Disney that Asian people telling this story on screen are mere puppets on strings with no real control over how their own stories are told. So you mean to tell me that you don't get the the idea that the actors on the screen, that's not actually their life, because that's what you seem to be implying. Oh my God, those people on the screen, if they had somebody Asian behind it, well then, they would have ownership over that story. How exactly does that work? But continuing, it was also a stark reminder of the unfortunate reality of our lives as people of color. As much as we're seeing more of ourselves represented in mass media, we still don't have authority over our narratives. Now, this stuff, of course, tells you plenty about the person here because their enjoyment is based on excluding people that, well, they look like that, because white people, am I right? And the vitriol that they not only profess, but they profess openly. Can you imagine going out and saying that? See, myself, I can't imagine taking the stage and saying something like that or seeing my fellow person like this either. But these folks, they all too frequently write articles, and of course, they are applauded for this type of narrative. So this is them on social media to note. And look at exactly what they're doing within this. They take an interview with a costume designer from Variety, and they decide to spotlight that person as the bad guy, with 91,000 people liking this because, oh my God, too white. So Disney hired, they say, a white director, a white costume designer, 4 white scriptwriters, a white composer, a white choreographer, a white film editor, a white casting director, all to authentically tell the story of legendary Chinese warrior out there. Isn't that lovely? And they continue too. It's just disrespectful at this point. You can't just plop Asian actors in front of a camera and call it a day. There need to be Chinese people, specifically Han people, ethnic group that Mulan would have belonged to, behind the camera too. That's how you get authenticity. Really? Is that what you think? That's how you get authenticity? You just pluck up some people and say, hey, tell me a story from back when? I don't think that's how that goes. In case y'all want receipts, by the way, here's the director, here's all of the people that are attached to it. Let's throw those people under the bus. Now that's an interesting hot take, but let me ask them something. Hey there. So, I was wondering, how exactly did you become so, well, you know that word, asking for the real world and the tens of thousands of people that might view this later? Thanks, and watch a movie for watching a movie. Now, to score all of those so stunning, so brave points with 91.3K likes and 25.7K retweets, they had to hide quite a few of the responses they got. I'm sure, too, if you asked this person what kind of replies they got, they would whine about, oh my God, those white people. But the reality is, most people understand you don't take a video of somebody talking about, hey, this is the highlight of my career, and you say, your skin tone, ooh, oh, God. They continue this by telling you how disgusted they are by how a beautiful love story that focused on the woman taking control and allowing her to lead the relationship development is disregarded as a flippant justification for a creative decision made by white people who clearly don't understand the story's nuance. At this point, they say too, they've given up. This is no longer my favorite Disney story. It's a white person's chance to flex their creative muscle and cash a Disney check. The worst part is they believe that just because they stopped by a museum or two, took an all-expensive paid trip to China and did what feels like the bare minimum of research, that they have somehow made up for a lack of lived experience and cultural connection. With all of that, I keep keep wondering, was this person a projectionist in a former life or something? Because you know what? They definitely have some transferal issues. And all of this, of course, to throw out unfettered vitriol while pretending, of course, that this person is the victim. It's amazing. I mean, they literally said, I see people that look like this and it ruins my experience. I don't want people like this in front of the camera. I don't want them behind the camera. An authentic version of something is them not being related to something at all. Isn't that amazing? They continue to, but I just don't want to touch on it anymore. But anyway, you tell me what you think about this. It's definitely something. Ending this too, I want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. You make this stuff possible. Not enough people say that, and I want to say that to you because I do appreciate you being here. I don't want to monopolize your time, but I do want to thank you for it. And if you want to help the channel out, subscribe, share videos. You know that drill by now. Anyway, I want to end with that. And again, I want to say thank you. I do appreciate you. Check out the next video.